Of Reform. And again, Reform is not involved in this. If you live in Reform, notice that's the polygon boundary. You're here and you're out. So this will be crossing over into Lamar County soon. More than likely, we'll get that new warning for Lamar County shortly. And again, the problem we're going to have tonight, this is a nighttime event. Our cameras, you're going to see a lot of darkness. Our spotters in the field, you'll see a lot of darkness. We'll show you the live streams and the cameras, but we are not able to do at night what we can do during the day with visuals on this. And during a nighttime event, you're just going to have to trust us when we show you radar. We have learned through social science research that people will react to live video of tornadoes, but you often don't react to radar-indicated tornadoes. But you'll just have to take our word for it tonight as we go through this. So again, that is the tornado warning. Now, we should mention we have a severe storm that is moving through northern Lamar and Marion counties. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. This storm did produce some damage back in Mississippi, and again, we're watching an inflow notch, and we're watching back in the southwestern flank carefully. We don't have enough evidence that there's a tornado at this point for a warning, a tornado warning. But again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. This includes most of Marion County and northern Lamar County as this storm gradually moves on towards the northeast. That's U.S. Highway 278 coming out of Hamilton, going back over to Double Springs and Winston County. You could see some large hail possibly in this part of the storm, torrential amounts of rain. And as always, we watch that southwestern flank. That's the area where we could possibly see a tornado. We now have a new tornado warning that will be issued shortly for southern Lamar and Fayette counties. The storm that we are watching here is better organized. So again, the Weather Service in Birmingham is in the process of putting a new polygon together that will include parts of Fayette and Lamar counties. That warning has just now been issued. So the National Weather Service in Birmingham posting a new warning, and you can see the polygon boundaries right in through here. This will include the city of Fayette, which is right here. And I do want, Charles, to get Brian on the line. If you could maybe text him. Brian Peters is on this storm in West Alabama. He's in our storm chase vehicle, and we'll get him on the line and check his live stream out in just a second. In fact, I'm watching his live stream now. We'll see where he is and how he is in relation to the storm. But the community of Kennedy is involved in this. The community of Millport. Kennedy and Millport are both in Lamar County. And basically anybody from Millport and Kennedy up Highway 96 to Fayette, you are involved in this tornado warning. So this is a dangerous storm. Again, we initially, when the warning was issued for Pickens, it was based on an observation. The tornado was observed by spotters or by the public or by law enforcement. And again, we've got a very well-defined hook echo on this, and that'll be coming right across the county line. This is Pickens County, this is Lamar, and that will continue crossing up toward Millport and Kennedy. So if you're watching us on the western side of the state, we now have tornado warnings in effect for northern Pickens. And again, we stress in Pickens County, this does not include Reform, Gordo, Aliceville, Carrollton. If you're in any of those communities, this is not involving you. This is the far northern edge of Pickens County, and again, that's about to cross over into Lamar. So let's go now. In fact, here's a quick look at the storm attribute table here, and again, we're watching the tornado impact number, and this is a number that is a relative number that it combines a lot of meteorological parameters with the radar data, and it's up to a 10.0, which is very significant, so we'll keep an eye on that. And again, you can see the approximate arrival times. It's got Belk at 7:43, Fayette approximately 7:53. Don't take these to the bank. Your time of arrival might vary. Brian Peters, let's put Brian's live stream behind me quickly. Brian, we're watching you, and tell us, first off, where you are and what you've got there.
Yes, James, I'm 2.5 miles into Fayette County from the Tuscaloosa County line. Sirens are going off in my location in Fayette County. And there's a good deal of lightning, especially to my northwest, this storm, which appears to be getting stronger.
Okay, Brian, in terms of the meteorological setup, it looks like this is very favorable. We noted the Storm Prediction Center pulled the moderate risk into northwest Alabama and moved the enhanced risk over as well. Again, how's your dew point looking? And we can see those lightning flashes off in the distance. How are the atmospheric conditions where you are?
James, they're still very juicy, moist. The dew point, the last time I checked just a few minutes ago, was about 63. So dew point values are very much up there. My temperature right now is cooled off to 69, but still 69 temperature over a 63 dew point means this atmosphere is really primed and ready to do something.
Right, and it doesn't take unusually high dew points in this air mass. Let's double box this if we can. I'm going to keep Brian on the line. And again, Brian, one more time, tell me your location, your exact spot there.
My exact spot is I'm on 171, Alabama 171, 2.5 miles into Fayette County from the Tuscaloosa County line.
Okay, Brian is about right here. This is the community of Newtonville, so Brian is pretty much in the community of Newtonville. And more than likely, and understand, Brian has trained over 6,000 storm spotters in this state. He knows exactly what he's doing. And what he's got, he's in a position here where more than likely the hook will be passing a little north of him. You don't want to be in the position where this thing's going to run right over you. That's dangerous. You don't do that. Responsible storm spotters, storm chasers don't do this. It looks like the tornado indication is going to go a little north of Brian. So Brian, looking north, might have a chance to see something. And Brian, explain, please, if you're watching this and if you are in the city of Fayette, if you're in Kennedy, if you're in Millport, don't wait until you see something. Brian, explain how hard it is to see a tornado in Alabama that's probably rain-wrapped at night. And I think we probably just lost Brian. Brian, are you still there?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good now. Go ahead. I don't know if you heard my question or not.
No, I did not hear your question, sir, but you're absolutely right. Out here in the rural areas, the country more or less, it's very, very dark. Lightning is helping to light up the sky, but you just don't see enough of it because we have so many trees. The hills aren't too bad in this particular location. If anybody's familiar with 171 south of Fayette, it's fairly flat. It rolls a little bit, but the problem is the trees. There's no real break in the trees to get a good view of what the storm is probably doing, which is why I'm not traveling a whole lot further north right now because of the position of where that hook echo is relative to my position.
All right, I want to put behind me, Brian, and you stay with us. Let's take the wall here full screen. If we can put the high resolution radar, which is coming off one of the iPad sources, I wanted to take a look at this. And again, this is a different radar with a little higher resolution. And again, that's the hook echo that's sitting on the county line between Pickens and Lamar in West Alabama. And I wanted to look at a product called correlation coefficient. This is part of the dual polarization products offered by the Weather Service NEXRAD sites. There is a minimum here, and we'll watch that. You have to watch this over a series of volume scans. That might be a tornado debris signature. This is where debris is being lofted. A little hard to call on that at this point. And while we have this up, we'll check the velocity display. And again, this is not the most impressive velocity couplet in the world, but understand this has been reported. This has been seen by somebody back when it was down in Pickens County, and certainly on the reflectivity display, it looks pretty good. So again, this is a tornadic storm that is in the process of moving out of Pickens, moving up into the southern part of Lamar counties. And understand.
A new one. I was just looking at this for Marion and Winston County as well. That storm we just talked about wrapped up enough. There's a new tornado warning there.
Okay, so this is a new tornado warning. This is for a storm that is north of there. So this is a tornado warning for Marion and Winston counties until 8:30. And again, you can see that we talked about that southwestern part of this. And again, we've got the inflow notch here, the possibility of a tornado sitting over Guin, Alabama. And for those that don't know, that community has had a long history of violent tornadoes. The one in the super outbreak of 1974 was a horrific storm that did so much damage to that town. But again, this is the tornado indication here, and that's going to be moving up towards the north and east. Let's go back to the main graphic system. And Charles, if we can, let me just show people who's in and who's out of this particular tornado warning polygon. And again, the polygon will include Hackleburg. And again, this is your tornado. And more than likely, the tornado is going to pass south of Hackleburg. But Hackleburg is on the border. Is a course of least regret. If you're on the border, I'd go to a safe place. This does include the city of Haleyville in Winston County. So again, if you are in Brilliant, if you are in Haleyville, we don't want anybody driving on US 278 between Hamilton and Double Springs right now. And that we could very well have a tornado that is down. That's Interstate Highway 22 that runs from Birmingham to Memphis. And that tornado indication is very close now to Interstate 22. This is around the community of Twin. Again, if you are anywhere close to Interstate 22 and that Twin Guin exit, that's where we don't want anybody out now. And obviously, if you are in a site-built home, you want to be in a small room on the lowest floor near the center away from windows. You don't have to be underground to survive this. and you don't get in your car and drive. A car is a death trap during a tornado. You don't do that. You want to be just in a safe place in your home. So again, this is tornado number 1 that is located near Twin and Ewan in Marion County, moving to the northeast. And again, that's moving up in the general direction of Brilliant and Haleyville. If you're in any of those places in this polygon here, you want to be in a safe place. So this is parts of Marion and Winston. This is the other tornado warning polygon in northwest Alabama. This includes the southeastern corner of Lamar County and Fayette County, including the city of Fayette. And Brian, if you're still on the line with us, give us an update on what you've got there, Brian. This looks like you're driving
James,
now.
Yeah, I am driving. The rain has actually ended, and of course I can see that on radar. The part of the echo that I'm concerned about is still just west of my location, probably by about 6 or 7 miles, and we're getting a lot more lightning lighting up the sky. And one of the things I'm doing is trying to move up on a hill, which gives me a better perspective, but also keeps a good signal going for the cell phone. So little method to my madness here.
Right, and again, we stress that it is a big challenge to do what Brian is doing, and nobody should be out trying to do that, Brian, unless you're an experienced spotter or chaser that's been trained multiple times. You do not go out at night. That is a very, very dangerous thing to do. So again, you were looking live at Brian Peters' live stream. And again, Brian, give me your exact location one more time where you stopped there.
Okay, I think I'm between 3 and 4 miles north of the Tuscaloosa-Fayette County line in Fayette County on Alabama 171. Okay. So I'm just a few miles, maybe about 10 miles south of Fayette.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, Charles. I'm going to let you, Charles, take that down for just a second and take off the Instagram notifications because boneheads, if you try and game this, you won't win. And the same thing for you hater guys. Just please allow us to do our job. Again, what you're looking at now, this is a possible tornado that is coming up in the community of Kennedy and Lamar County. If you live in Millport or Kennedy, you should have been in a safe place 15, 20 minutes ago. If you're just seeing this for the first time, you need to be in a safe place right now. Tornado warning for the southeastern part of Lamar County, and understand that is coming right up toward ultimately perhaps the city of Fayette, maybe coming in a bit south of Fayette. This is Alabama Highway 159 that goes down to Gordo. That's Alabama Highway 171 that goes down to Northport and Tuscaloosa. Anybody along those highways, 159, 171, you need to be in a safe place, and we're going to spend time going back and forth between these two. Let's go back to the high-resolution radar. I want to show you the northernmost storm. This is the storm that is currently located near Brilliant. And again, this is a look at the velocity display, and notice how the couplet here has tightened up. This is the radar data coming from the Weather Service radar facility at Columbus Air Force Base in northeast Mississippi, which gives a very close look into this, a pretty good low-level look. And again, that's a pretty good indication of a tornado getting very close to the community of Brilliant in the southern part of Marion County. This will not affect Hamilton. This is Hamilton here. Hackleburg, you're way up here. Technically, you are in the polygon, but again, there's a very high probability that this stays well to the south of you. So again, possible tornado near Brilliant moving up into Winston County. This is Natural Bridge and this is Haleyville. Both of these communities are in the polygon. Natural Bridge, Haleyville, be in a safe place. Don't take any chances with this. So again, that is a look at the storm relative velocity, and again, this is the reflectivity. This is the energy returned back to the radar. Inflow notch, possible tornado at Brilliant. So we have a tornado warning in effect for the southeastern part of Marion County and the western part of Winston County, including Lynn, Natural Bridge, Haleyville, Double Springs. All of you are in this polygon. So that's storm number 1, and this is storm number 2 down to the south. This is the one at Kennedy coming up on the city of Fayette. Pretty much the same situation here. So Brian Peters, if you're with us, we'll take your stream again. Again, tell us what you got there.
Still on 171, moving a little bit further north. The trajectory of the couplet seems to be heading basically towards Kennedy first, and then crossing into Fayette County and heading for Fayette. I'm staying south of where the trajectory is of this storm to stay on the south side to get the best possible vantage point. Unfortunately, hills and trees are not spotters' best friends, and so the vantage point is somewhat limited with all of the trees, especially that we have, even though the road is relatively flat, and I would have a good view if I didn't have all the trees. But one of the things we love about Alabama is all the trees.
Yeah.
So the view is not too good. And the lightning is just becoming even more brilliant, if you will.
Yeah, we can see the lightning off in the distance as you're driving along, Brian. And again, we're watching behind me the motion of this. And this potential tornado is sitting right over the community of Kennedy. And again, this is coming right up toward Newtonville and Fayette. So if you're along Highway 159, Alabama Highway 96, Alabama Highway 171 in the southern part of Fayette County, from Fayette south down to Kennedy or down to Newtonville, anywhere in that broad area, you need to be in a safe place now. Do not wait till you see something. You won't see something. More than likely, this is rain wrapped. It is dark. You will not see it. This is a very challenging situation that we have at night. So again, you're watching that first storm. I'll put the second storm on here. And again, this is the one coming into Brilliant. And Charles Daniel is here. Charles, any visuals on this? It's going to be very hard to get reports on a night like tonight.
It is, but that's what actually spawned the first tornado warning out of Pickens County, which Pickens County has been cleared at this point, which is excellent news. But again, as you saw on Brian's feed, it's very dark, very difficult to see. We're watching this storm. We're going to get into some hilly terrain right in here. A lot of trees through this area, so visibility is going to be greatly limited. But if you're in Kennedy or Belk, you need to be in your safe place immediately. And folks in Fayette, this is headed towards you again. It's that northeasterly trajectory. It's about 40, 45 miles an hour, so you need to go ahead and get into that safe place as well. Brian is coming up from Newtonville in this direction, and he's probably going to wait and let the bulk of that storm, there's probably some large hail, or at least some small hail, very at least, just south of Belk. He's going to let that pass and probably try to get in just behind the hook or the rotation as it passes through. So that's sort of the plan, and he's in a very good spot to do that at a very safe way to do that. So again, we advise you to be in your safe place. You don't want to be out there trying to snap pictures of this. Let it get by, and as it does, then you can get out later and maybe just let us know what's going on at your house. We don't want you out and around just in case of maybe down power lines and things of that nature. So just be safe. And you can turn that TV up as loud as it'll go, and you'll hear us in your safe place, and we'll let you know when it's clear. Pickens County, though, has been cleared, which is fantastic news. Fayette, Lamar, the county for you, or the warning for you, this one until 8:15, the other one until 8:45. That's the storm in Marion and Winston counties that we've been watching as well. So it looks like we're setting up for a long night, James.
Yep, we sure are. And again, if you're just joining us, we are in the midst of coverage of tornado activity in West Alabama. We have two distinct supercell storms. This is the northernmost storm. This is a possible tornado near Brilliant in Marion County, moving northeast. This is a possible tornado near Kennedy in Lamar County, moving northeast as well. We'll take a closer look at both of these. We'll start with the northernmost storm. And again, you can see the inflow notch, which is right here. Brilliant is here. This is the county line that separates Marion County from Winston County. Haleyville, Natural Bridge, Lynn. And again, if you are in any of those communities, you want to be in a safe place. And I don't exactly know what this is, but we'll go back to the high-resolution radar. If we can go back to that source, please, the one we just had on. I think that was a live shot coming from Hamilton. And if we don't, y'all let me know. Okay, thank you very much. There we go. Again, this is the county line. This is Marion County. This is Winston County. Haleyville, Natural Bridge, Lynn, possible tornado moving northeast. And again, this is going to be fairly close to Natural Bridge, probably a little south of Haleyville. This has been moving a little more east than northeast. But the bottom line is, if you're in this polygon, respect the polygon, you go to a safe place right away. Let's go back to the main graphic system. This will be a different look at this. And if we can put the attribute table on here, Charles, we'll go back to our main graphic system. And if we can't, there we go. Again, we'll put the storm attributes on here. And again, this is the storm that is coming out of Marion into Winston County, moving northeast at 45. And again, you can still see that tornado impact number is at a 10.0. That's a relative scale, but a 10.0 is a very high number, meaning there's a pretty good likelihood a tornado is there. These are approximate arrival times. Do not take these to the bank. Your time could actually vary, but you can see this is suggesting Natural Bridge at approximately 7:53. Right now it's 7:39 Central Time. On this stormy November evening in Alabama. So we'll take the table off, and again, that's the storm that is currently coming out of Marion over into Winston County. Let's go down to the southern storm, Charles. This is going to be the storm that's located near Millport. This is crossing over into Fayette County, and clearly the most dangerous part of this storm is going to pass south of the city of Fayette. Still, the city of Fayette is in the polygon. We don't want to take away from the danger here. And everybody in the city of Fayette needs to be in a safe place, but it certainly looks like the greatest possibility of this crossing highways 159 and 171 will be south of the city of Fayette, between Fayette and Newtonville. And if we can, let's bring up Brian's live stream. And if, Brian, you're still on the line, tell us, you're working this storm now. Where are you and what do you see?
Yes, James, I'm on 171, Alabama 171. The lightning is becoming very intense. Most of the lightning is less than a mile from my location. We're getting just to my west. I'm moving north on 171, and I'm about 5 miles south of Fayette. The rain is very, very light, just sprinkles more than anything else. There's getting to be a pretty good amount of surface wind, too. With the fall, there's lots of leaves that are blowing around, and we're seeing that. In addition to this, the lightning is just absolutely spectacular to my west, just to the west of 171. I'm working my way slowly up because as Charles noted, I don't want to get too far north to get into the path of the storm. I want to stay south, away from it, but try to get a view if I can. Unfortunately, with the trees, I'm not sure there's going to be much of a view to be had, but I'm going to try. Okay,
Brian, again, we're going to kind of watch that feed carefully, and like we've talked about, this is just hard. When we're working these daytime events, it can be hard, but it's a whole lot easier because we can see things. We have a big network of cameras, and we can see on our dash cams with the storm chasers, and we can see from the sky cams, but on a night like tonight, it's very, very hard. I do want to ask real quickly, Brian, we had the big rain last night. One of the concerns we had was this oil problem building up on the roads. The road surface has been slick to you tonight?
Have not noticed anything in the way of slickness, James.
Okay, that's
good. Of course,
good.
I do have four-wheel drive, but I have not noticed anything like that at all.
Okay, so again, let's do this. Let's go to a single box with me in this button. Let's do a big picture, Charles. Let's kind of do a reset here. It is 7:42. If you're just joining us, we have two tornadic storms in West Alabama. They are not close to Tuscaloosa. They are not close to Birmingham. They are not close to Anniston or Gadsden. More than likely, it's going to be late tonight. Much later tonight before those cities are affected. The core problem in the short term for the next several hours more than likely will be this northwestern part of the state, the counties we're working now. If you're in Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, absolutely there's a chance of severe weather tonight. Could there be a tornado? Absolutely, but the highest chance of one is up in this part of the state, and that's what we're working now. All of this will roll into a squall line later tonight, and as that happens, the threat shifts from tornadoes to damaging straight-line winds, and that line will likely come through Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, and Gadsden well after midnight tonight. It might be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning before that happens. The bottom line is this will be a long night tonight. So again, this is storm number one, and this is storm number two. The southernmost storm is pretty much all in Fayette County now, and I think we can almost give an all clear for Lamar County. If you are watching us in Lamar County, in Kennedy or Millport, the danger has ended. The concern now, it's exclusively Fayette County. Again, it's the city of Fayette here. Brian, were you trying to say something? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, James.
That's okay. And if you need to say something, you just butt right in because you're there looking at this thing. But again, Brian, where are you now? Let's do a double box real quick since we got. But Brian, where are you now?
I'm about 3 miles south of Fayette, and I've been stopped by a citizen who is inquiring about what's happening.
Oh, okay, I got you. That's one of Brian's problems. That's a fairly well-marked vehicle, and people will often ask a lot of questions here. But again, Brian, just be aware that hook is getting pretty close to you. So again, you're the spotter trainer extraordinaire. I don't worry about you out in the field, but just be aware that the hook echo is coming up from the southwest. And again, it looks like it's going to be crossing highways 159 and highways 171. Just a little south of the city of Fayette. If you're in the city of Fayette still, you want to be in a safe place. Do not break your routine now of safety. And of course, in a night like this, the other thing we have to consider, those people that live in mobile homes. If you're in a mobile home, you can't be in a mobile home during a tornado warning. Like a car, you can't be in them. You've got to get out, and part of your tornado plan, it's knowing where you're going, whether it's night, day, weekend, or weekday. So no mobile homes, no cars. In a site-built home, a small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. Many communities have shelters, and many folks are in those shelters now. But again, there's the inflow notch. That's the possible tornado that's pretty much hugging Alabama Highway 159. That's the road between Fayette and Gordo, and that'll be crossing Brian's location very soon. So
clear.
Right. Yeah. Lamar is out of this thing, so this is Fayette only. So that's the southern storm. Let's go to our northern storm. We're going to work both of these at the same time. We're going to bounce back between these two, giving you equal time. This is our northern storm. And again, the possible tornado has come on through the community of Brilliant. We have a fairly dense network of storm spotters and sky watchers. And I've not seen any reports of damage. And Charles, if you hear of any reports of damage, let me know.
You know, earlier the correlation coefficient, we were showing signs of a TDS up there.
Right.
And it looks like it's north of Brilliant, probably about to cross over that 278 corridor. Sunny Home, which you see there on the map between White House and Natural Bridge. But it doesn't look as prevalent as it was maybe a couple of scans ago.
Right. In fact, let's go to the high resolution radar. I'll show you what that CC product looks like. You see this little minimum right here. That could be a spot where debris is being lofted. And again, this is a fairly sparsely populated part of the state. But we'll go back to the velocity display while we have this. We're going to bounce back and forth between the products. And again, I'll say this, the velocity display does not look that impressive on this storm. That is not a tight tornado-looking couplet signature here, but still, that doesn't mean you need to come out of your safe place. So the beautiful thing about today's technology, people can watch us on their phone in their safe place. You don't have to drag some big screen TV in there. You just watch on your phone with the mobile apps and the technology we have today. So again, if you're in your safe place and if you're watching us in Haleyville, Natural Bridge, or Lynn, just because there's not a good couplet there, you stay in that safe place until we give you an all clear. If that continues over several scans, the all clear will be given. But again, there's a pretty good structure on this storm. Inflow notch, and that's the spot to watch right there. And that's basically going to be coming up on Natural Bridge. Confidence is pretty high that Haleyville will stay well to the north of this tornado danger. But again, you're in the polygon. It's very easy when we get into these things. If you're in, you do something. And if you're not, you don't worry about it. That's the way these things work. They work very well. It's been a great system in use for 8 years. So again, Haleyville, Natural Bridge, Lynn, Double Springs. You're all in this polygon. If the Weather Service opts to drop this, we'll be the first to let you know. So that is the northernmost storm. And again, we'll check on the southern storm. And Brian Peters, this thing's getting awfully close to you. What you got there?
I've got that. I think I'm a little too close, so I'm going to actually turn around and go back south a mile or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down there.
That's a good call. In fact,
Yeah. I'm getting a tremendous amount of wind from southwest to northeast right now. I don't know if you can see it going across the road.
Yeah.
I can. Wow. I can feel it.
Yeah, we can see that, Brian. And what Brian
that's why I'm heading back to the south a little bit here, because my location is very close to that couplet.
Right, and what Brian is doing, the object of the game when you're in the spotting business, you want to be down in through here. You want to be where this thing passes north of you, and you're looking north up into that so you can maybe see something, and that's what Brian is going to do. So he's headed south down Highway 171 to look back up in this thing if you can see anything, and you have to wait on lightning to illuminate this, and the other problem is the fact that this could be totally rain-wrapped, and even if you do have a lightning bolt illuminating the tornado, it could be wrapped in rain, and you can't see that. It's a very, very, very dangerous thing to be out storm spotting or chasing on a night like this down here in the deep south. It is just not a wise thing to do. And people say, why does Brian do it? He's the best. And again, he's trained probably about 10,000 storm spotters in this state. And if there's one guy I trust, it's him to be out there and to stay safe. So that's our Fayette storm. And again, this is...
Can you give us a crossroad when you get a chance? Just shout it out, and I'm going to find exactly on the map where you are.
What was that?
Give us a crossroad when you get a chance, a crossroad on 171. Let us know exactly where you are. I want to make sure you're safe, man.
Okay, you know where 159 cuts off?
Right.
I'm south of that.
All right. When you see a crossroad, let us know exactly where that is. Just shout it out.
I will. I haven't seen any.
Okay.
Right. And let me
wind has changed, though. There's not as much southwesterly component to it all. I think if I were able to see the sky, I think I would be actually seeing some rotation in the clouds from the mesocyclone.
Okay, yeah, I believe that, Brian. And we're going to leave Brian's other video on the other side of the screen we can watch together. I wanted to point out that this tornado indication is coming up on Natural Bridge. We've been telling you this for about 20 minutes now, but again, the most important community in the path of this northernmost storm is Natural Bridge. That is in the far western part of Winston County. If you are in Natural Bridge, you really need to be in a safe place now. We stress that this is a storm that is dangerous. A tornado could be down right now. Now, if you're in Haleyville, this is all happening south of you. In a matter of minutes, we can give Haleyville an all clear. Not ready to do that yet. It's very obvious the tornado is going to pass south of there. But Natural Bridge is the community that is directly involved in this thing right now. And more than likely, it stays a little north of Lynn. But still, if you're in Lynn, in Winston County, you need to be in a safe place as well. And the next community off to the east over here is Natural Bridge. And if you're in Natural Bridge, you need to be in a safe place. So that is the northern storm that is affecting basically now Winston County. This is moving out of Marion, moving into Winston in northwest Alabama. And again, this is the southernmost storm. And again, that's a pretty impressive pendant, Brian. We're looking at the radar here as we watch Brian's feet. Looks like you pulled off to the side of the road now, or you're stopped there.
Yes. Paul Wright Senior Lane.
I'm sorry, Brian.
I think it's a driveway. But it has a street sign.
Okay. Brian's trying to give us an exact spot of where he is, but I will tell you that, again, this is the city of Fayette here. That is the possible tornado. Brian is probably down about right here. Brian is in a position to be looking north back into this. And again, this is crossing Alabama 159. It's about to cross Alabama Highway 171. 159 feeds down to Gordo. 171 feeds down to Northport. But still, if you're in the city of Fayette, you just stay in a safe place. Even if you're on the north side of town, you want to stay in a safe place. You know the rules on this. If you're in the Polygon, you do something, and if you're not, don't worry about it. But clearly, the city of Fayette is in the Polygon here. And if this continues, the next city in the path of this thing is going to be the community of Berry in Fayette County. So we'll see what the Weather Service does with this. But again, this is the first damage that we have seen that is in Pickens County at Ethelsville. This is the storm that's come on up. That's the one that's south of Fayette right now, that's near the city of Fayette. So it's done damage. It has had a history of producing damage. And again, the Weather Service based their warning on that. So again, that's the situation there. So let's go back to the radar behind me. We'll take this, and again, we're working two storms. We have one storm in Winston County. The possible tornado is now just a little east of Natural Bridge. The next spot in line is more than likely going to be Double Springs. That's U.S. Highway 278. Highway 278 runs from Hamilton to Natural Bridge to Double Springs. So obviously, if you're anywhere along Highway 278 between Natural Bridge and Double Springs, you want to be in a safe place.